Hello, good morning. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jasmine and this is my fluff Nemo. And he's been with me since he was about 1.5 years old, and I brought him with me to the Netherlands from London and then now from the Netherlands to Australia. So he is quite well traveled. He has a couple of stamps in his pet passport. But this is the story about how we got him to Australia and pretty much how nothing went to plan. While I was editing the video in Melbourne, I realized we didn't really do much because the main reason we went to Melbourne instead of straight to the Gold Coast is because Nemo needed to quarantine there. So while we were waiting for his release, we met up with some of my family who I hadn't met in so many years, which was really nice. I didn't bring my camera to document the moment, which I regret a little bit, but after so many years, I just wanted to soak in the moments with them, and I'm sure this won't be the last time that I see them. So pretty much all of the footage I got in Melbourne was us getting Nemo back and his experience with it all, so I couldn't really share that video until I explained exactly what he went through, all the steps included in getting him export ready, and his time at quarantine. Back in 2022, when we decided to first move to Australia, the first thing we of course had to do was just Google how to bring a cat to Australia. Contact the competent authority in the country of export to find out which veterinarians in the laboratories are approved to prepare your cat for export. Oh my god. We then had to speak to the vet and get everything organized and get them up to speed on what our plans were and how long it was going to take. So the first thing you have to do is get a rabies vaccine, and then a couple of weeks later you then have to get blood to make sure that the rabies vaccine is good and it's got a good result. Unfortunately, with the blood work, it was really hard to get his vein, and the vet ended up poking him about 6 to 7 times before Nemo had enough, and he got a little bit angry, which is understandable because if somebody pricked me 6 or 7 times trying to find a vein to get blood, I would be very crabby too. So in the end, they had to sedate him. After the anesthetic, you then pick him up, and he was a little loopy to say the least. Being a bit okay.
Why don't you just lay down, Nemo? Nemo, come.
One thing to note about Nemo at this time, he really didn't like car rides, so we were already worried that he wouldn't like the flights, and we already knew that the whole thing would be stressful for him, so we wanted to make it as easy as possible by sort of crate training him, by bringing him in the crate onto drives with us and just getting him familiar with the whole movement of everything. In we go. Yep. So at the moment we've just been driving around the village. He's been doing pretty well actually. He's not crying much anymore, just I think trying to figure out what's going on, where he's going. But I think the more often that we do this, then he'll get used to it, and when it comes to actually flying to go to Australia, then he'll be a bit more comfortable with the flight. That's what we're hoping anyway. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. I know. It was almost successful, but we've just made it home and he threw up. Come on.
Does he have it on his paws?
Yeah.
Then don't let him walk over there.
I don't know if it's on his paws. Okay, everything's in the wash, everything's clean now. Now we just gotta figure out how to take him out without him throwing up. After a few more times taking Nemo out in the car, we realized that he really wasn't having a good time, so we ended up scrapping that idea. Once we got the results that everything was fine with his blood work, we could then continue on to the next steps for the permit. And this was to apply for the permit. We actually waited a couple of weeks before we applied because we were super early and everything was going smoothly. So we applied for his permit in December with an estimate of about a month at that stage to get the permit through. And we were checking. And in January, we got some unfortunate news. Everything was changing with the quarantine rules, and that would impact any animal coming into Australia after March. He was estimated to arrive in May. We checked the status of the permit itself, and it mentioned that there will be an update and that they will reach out to every permit individually to give them their options. We believed, because we already proceeded with the permit before the changes, that we would be in luck. It just wasn't that way. They basically told us that if we didn't restart the whole procedure and moving our timeline back another 8 to 9 months, he would be subject to a 30-day quarantine. And at this point, he was only subject to a 10-day quarantine. So we're already feeling sad that he'd have to endure another 20 days, and it was a bit more expensive than we had originally planned. It wasn't actually until March that we got the approval, and considering that we expected to have the approval by the end of January latest, it was already 2 months later. But once we did finally get it on my birthday, we could then book the quarantine. We confirmed the reservation. And we booked his flight. All has been confirmed by Qatar Airways, meaning that we are all set for departure May 16th, 2023. Right before he had to leave, there was 3 or 4 vet appointments that he needed to do in succession. You ready, Nemo? This morning, we actually have a vet appointment for Nemo. This is the start of a lot of his treatments right before he goes. So I think he has an appointment today. Yeah, I know. You have an appointment today, and then he has another appointment, another 2 appointments next week, and then another last check before his flight. Okay, buddy. Are you ready? Hey. Hey. That was it?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. That wasn't so bad.
No, it was okay.
First appointment went well, super well, and now we just have to carry on with the next steps. Another day, another appointment, eh, Fluff? Today we actually have his first worm treatment. This one I think shouldn't take longer than 10 minutes. It's all depending on how willing he is to take the pill.
Ja, dat heeft een drugje. Ja, hè? Dat was
Yeah?
redelijk snel zo.
Oh, nice.
10 minuten voordat je gedaan
Yeah. Worm treatment success. Wasn't it, buddy? Got it in 1. This is the big appointment. He's got to go to the vet this morning to get sedated for a blood test, and then the general yearly vaccination. And I think that's it for a little while, so he'll have a little bit of a break from the vet, which I'm sure he's going to appreciate. This is his 3rd and final appointment in 2 weeks, so I can understand why his face looks like that. Huh.
Nemo's here for his sedation and blood work, right?
Yes.
Alright. I'm gonna take him from you guys.
We got the call that Nemo is awake, and now we get to pick him up. You did a good job at the vet. You did! It hasn't been that long since he last had to get it done, so I think he remembers. Oh!
He's drunk.
We finished step 10. This is the last appointment, Nemo. Are you ready? He's got his last worm treatment that needs to be given this morning. The vet has to sign a declaration. We then have to bring that declaration all the way to the NVWA, which is the governing body here in the Netherlands, and they will legalize the document and just state that everything is good and he's ready to fly. It is bittersweet. It's nice that he doesn't have any more treatments, but it's just sad that he's gonna go soon. Today's the day that he flies. We have to bring all the documents and some food. Yes. and his crate and some blankets for the flight. So yeah, today is gonna be hard, I think.
That's because we just go on and you can just take your time to say goodbye.
I'm sorry. I know, I'm sorry. I want to say bye. Okay, buddy. I'll see you later, okay? We just found out that one of the active ingredients in the brand that we administered at the vet, it's not valid, or it doesn't have the necessary ingredients, something along those lines. I didn't fully understand, which sucks because we followed the step-by-step instructions from Australia, and it didn't specifically say that certain brands cannot be used, which means that he's still flying today, but he's non-compliant. So we will find out later this week or next week what that means, whether that means he has to stay extra at the quarantine. It's just difficult, and the whole thing is difficult, and saying goodbye is difficult, and it's hard because yeah, we tried so hard to get this done super early because we knew it was going to be a rough ride, and really it's Nemo who's going to be having to go through everything. And yeah, it just sucks that in the end something as little as which brand we use for the flea treatment is what's making him non-compliant right now. As if the stress of the flight and leaving him wasn't enough. I think we're just gonna still monitor the process of what the Australian government say, and just hope that they're not too strict, given that they've just changed the rules in March. But yeah, we're just gonna have to see. Today was hard. We have an update.
Oh, from Nemo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh. Look at him. It says, "Don't worry about me, I'm well taken care of. I've been fed and they're making me comfortable. I'm waiting to board my flight to Melbourne." Once he arrived in Australia, that's when pretty much it continued to go wrong. He actually stopped eating for about a week, and we were getting daily updates from the officers at the quarantine facility that they're offering him various different foods to try to entice him to eat, but he was just super stressed in a new environment. We asked the officers to get a vet at the facility to take a look at him, and in the end we got this response. "We had our government vets assess him, and they have advised that Nemo is stressed and that this may be the cause of him not eating. They have also recommended that you arrange a private vet to assess him. This will be at your own expense and can be arranged via contact with a vet of your choice or one of the local vets." I managed to find a mobile vet in the area thanks to their recommendations, and we got Dr. Sue to see them within 2 days, which was amazing. She was super nice. She went and saw him, gave me a lovely report, told me everything that was going on, and gave medicine to help entice his appetite and to reduce his stress levels. After about a day or two, he started eating, but the communication after he started eating was very up and down. We got, one day where everything was going great and he was eating well, he was behaving better, he was being friendly with the staff and etc. And then the other next day he was being a picky eater again, and he wasn't finishing his food and etc. And so it was really, really difficult at the time to feel comfortable leading up to our departure to Australia as well. We just wanted him out of there. We just wanted to take him home and have him with us. And now he's back to his regular old, happy, crazy, goofy self. Okay, now that you're all caught up on how he got to Australia, let's continue with all the adventures of getting him back and how he's faring in this new country. Yeah. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!